Okay, we are back. Wow, that was really loud. That was actually the tripod legs closing on this. So we've got this one on and glued in position here. This one is on and in position as well. Kind of looking at what we're going to do here as far as wire routing. Now I need the legs. Come on, legs. Come back out. Okay. So what we're going to do basically with this is going to be like something like this, so that this can rotate, but doesn't rotate it just from the force of that on it, because I don't know if it shows in there, but this actually kind of ends like right there, so it's not at the line, and that's okay. I'll probably, like I said, I'll cut it right along this line here and then adapt to fit with the end cap so that it looks the same. This side is pretty much right at that line. I think the case on that one is you've got a little slop in here when you're pushing this on, because the throttle cable moves side to side in there, and you don't want it to be pulled out tight against that, or it'll ride on the housing and create some friction. So having that little extra at the end, it's not a big deal. It's just so in here I've gone ahead and popped this. This is the little tray out of there. This is the diagnostic port. It clips into that tray, and then that tray is sitting here. This is all the wiring for the cameras and stuff. Here's my little battery in here. Not exactly going to blow anyone away with all the extra space in here for doing any kind of extra accessory wiring, but what they want you to do here is they want you to go right to the battery with this, and then this has a fuse inline, and it's a 5 amp fuse, so this isn't a huge draw on the bike. I'm going to go ahead and do it this way for now. We'll see how it works out in the future. What I might be doing is coming back and revisiting this and putting a relay in here so that this comes off the battery, but through a relay, so when I turn the bike off, it'll automatically shut it off. I believe it has a timer on there, but anyway, like I said before, these attached to this is the control unit. It's got a little bracket to mount it, probably something like that. I haven't got the bracket out yet to see where that's going to go, and that's not it. I thought, okay, I brought it over here. I'm hiding it from myself. So over here would put it right in the way of everything else. So that's probably where it's going to have to go, is right there. And then that needs to relocate. I've been wanting to remove that for quite a while anyway. One big complaint I have with the Blue Sky C, or Blue Sea Sky, yeah, Blue Sky C, this button, when you have gloves, there's no tactile feel to it. Out of probably 20 times pushing this, it's like one or two times it's actually done what it's supposed to, and that's kind of important, because if somebody's like running you off the road and you hit that to take a picture of their license plate, kind of want it to actually do what it's supposed to do. Next step here is to run the power cord, hook it to the battery there, and then route it. I'll probably move back to that side and kind of route it up some Phillips screws. I replaced the hardware on here because the hardware that it comes with, they always give you battery bolts that are just that much short of getting to the nut on the battery cable. I mean, somewhere there's some jackass laughing his ass off over all the people out there trying to hook their battery cables up with a bolt that's just too short. Don't a lot of access to really get in here and mess with holding stuff while I take these out, so hope for the best, because if the nut falls out of there, see if I can do it like that. So what we have is we have the battery cable, and this is what I was talking about. Down in there's the little nut. It's like it sits in there, and then you put the bolt in and it pulls it up the slot. So they make it from the factory so that the just touches the bolt. So when you put the battery cable in there, you just can't reach the nut. So you got to try and get in there with a screwdriver or some other means of lifting it up to get to it. And I'm sure somebody's having a blast laughing about it because they know damn good and well if it was 2 threads longer, it wouldn't cost them anything extra to make it, but it would make life so much easier for everybody that ever uses it. Okay, now what I want to do, this is loose because this little panel that sits in here, it hooks through the sides here and into the side panels to make sure you got to take the whole bike apart to get the side panels off. So with that taken out of there, you get access to the side panels too. And I'm going to bring this over here because it's not like it's going to be easy to get to no matter where I put it. So if I put it over here, if I can get it there, there we are. At least it's out of the way. So let's move along here. I kind of wish they had like a hood prop or something you could use over here to hold this up without, because like I said, you can disconnect the fuel line and you can disconnect stuff. It's just it's a pain. And as is usually the case, they give you all of that to get to it. So it would just be nice if the stuff wasn't so close. Do I have room in that? I know it doesn't look like I'm routing it very well. I'm just kind of sticking it through 2 spots here, but the reality is that's all it really needs, because this just rides right along the top, and then this is just a peg so I can go around it when I get to that step. The hardest part is getting it out the front. And there, and there. Okay, so you can see what I'm looking at here. Hopefully, if I can figure out a way to set this light so you can see, but I can still move. Here, I'll hook it on my pocket. That'll work. So yeah, this is the wire. Comes through here. Running into stuff with this pod. Hold on. So it comes through here, and that's where the wiring goes anyway. So this is actually bundles that existed. And one of these, this little one, I think is actually one I added. So this can come up and run right along with that. I'll zip tie these together. And then it just comes up here, and this is what I was saying. There's only right here to get under this bar, and then out the front is the only 2 spots that you can really direct it anywhere. So then it'll have to come up through here, and that comes up right here. I don't know if you can see my finger wiggling in there. I'm caught in there. That comes up right there next to the speedometer. And then I can hook it into this stuff, and then we'll have to figure out what to do with all the extra once we have it all hooked together here. There's a little guide, I guess you would call it. It's like a little bar inside the speedometer bracket right here. You want to kind of get this to go through that. There we are. And just like that. And the same as the rest of it. Once I get everything situated, I can come back. Whoa, you almost fell over right there. I can come back and zip tie this here and up here, wherever I can get to it to secure it. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and zip tie these, and then I can set the tank back in position. Now, before I dislodge it and break something. Okay, so now we've got these. Can kind of loose route these around stuff just to get them over here where we're working. I know this one doesn't move, but I'll probably go ahead and leave a slack in there just because this side will have it anyway, and that way it'll do two things. One, it'll look more uniform to have the slack like on both sides, but two, it'll also use up some of the 355 feet of extra wire I'm going to have to find a spot for. So okay, so we're going to have to take this off because it's not going to be able to be here anymore anyway. And after all this time being zip tied there, it's finally going to stick. It was zip tied because the double-sided tape would never stick. Okay, so just about good here. Now this is on the control bolts for the switch, not the switch, the clutch lever. So I got to make sure I get that back where it needs to be. This doesn't move relative to the bar. It's just like this side's heater, but I want to make sure everything is out of the way of everything else. This and the actual camera at the front are the ones that I was talking about earlier, having run through there before. Because, yeah, you're not aware of it. There's a camera right in here. I don't know if I actually pointed at it because I can't see it from this angle, but maybe you did. Okay, anyway, yeah, there's a camera in the front, and there's a camera in the back. So even if I'm not recording on the 360, which can't be counted on as dash cam because it shuts off every 29 minutes. It cuts, and it takes usually about 30 seconds or so, but has seen as long as 13 minutes between clips when I've gone back to do my editing and put together the video, and I don't know why. Now, doesn't really matter which of these goes to which, because they're both on or off. There's no turning on one side, so there's no need to differentiate, and there is no differentiation on the plugs anyway, so. Really, I'm not even sure why they marked these, because you can't put them on backwards because only one of them will fit over to the throttle tube. But I suppose there's that one guy. Okay, now I suppose before I get all excited and start putting all this away and vinyl zip tie and everything, I should go ahead and now, while I'm sitting here waiting for this to warm up so I can tell that it's working, probably a good time to go ahead and say, this is not intended for use without gloves. It's made fairly clear in the directions, but I'll go ahead and mention it. I still have to put the mirrors on and stuff, make sure before I zip tie everything in place, but okay. There we go. Now it's starting to warm up. So okay. Yeah. What I'm saying is it's in the instructions, but in case you didn't read them or you don't know, this is not intended to keep your bare hands warm, and it will get hot enough to burn you. So as it is, I'm probably not going to be able to just spin these in like I did taking them off. I have to loosen this up. And unfortunately, I don't know how well that's going to work on these, because, like I said, these balls are kind of coming apart. You can see a little better that where it's all mushed and coming apart. And these are actual ram mounts. Okay. There we go. That'll work. Finish this one. I think this one might need to be readjusted here to clear this. I'll know in a minute. Trying to hold the ball straight with the mirror is kind of awkward because the way this is all attached, it makes it feel like it's straight when it's not, and not when it is. So, okay. And same thing, that's probably close because I didn't loosen this one to clear stuff like that side, but I'll have to wait until it's on the ground to finalize the adjustment on that. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to loosen it anyway because nice thing with that, I don't know if you saw what was happening there. This was catching on the knob when I was rotating it, and it was stopping the throttle from closing. Not a good thing. So putting it on that side, it's not in the way of anything there. Now we've got that good. It's not catching. Everything's good there. That position will work. So I was able to slide that through. I didn't have to cut it off and redo it. And now we just got to figure out what to do with all this good crud here. And I'm going to make it look really super high speed. So I'm not sure exactly where that cut out, but I've got this out of the way and this zip tied, so we can go ahead and snip this, put that back in it. I keep it tucked in this pouch here to keep it from flopping around or getting damaged or shorting out, because I don't have a cap to screw this into. Like, there's a cap that screws in on the phone side of that connection. In fact, it's right here. So that screws out, but I don't have the equivalent for the other end when it's not connected on the bike. So I just tuck it in there to keep it kind of out of harm's way and out of the weather. This isn't a waterproof pouch, but it's actually kind of under the windshield and out of the way enough that even when I wash the bike, it doesn't really get super wet or anything. Okay, like I said, it's not the prettiest, but it'll work for now. Got this tucked here and it's attached to this mount here. And then the wires coming over here and here. So now I just got to come down here and secure this out of the way. And then once we get that, we can do our last really important test here. And I know I mentioned earlier, test your controls if you've touched anything connected to them. But the other thing that you need to make sure you check, and I'll have to do it again when it's running, just to make sure the throttle doesn't work, but you want to make sure, set that over here before I knock it on the floor, and you want to make sure you can move the controls through the full arc of steering without binding anything and without pulling the throttle or anything like that. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that to that side and finish up right here with the zip ties on the, if I can remember what I did with them. Okay. Anyway. So that's pretty much that as far as wiring and configuring and all that good stuff. So, oh, hey, I found them. Woohoo. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause everything. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my tools and get the seat and stuff back on it. Mount my phone back up. All this, you don't need to watch all that. It's just fiddly stuff. Get the tank bolt back in, all that good stuff. And then we'll take a look and see if we can figure out where we're going to put this other camera mount. So I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay. So I just had one of those moments where you realize you did something stupid. Only it's been a long time since I did something stupid, and I'm glad it didn't cost me. So, you might remember there was a Robbie Layton Nation sticker right there, which would be great, except the camera for the DVR is right there. So all summer, months now, I have been riding around getting hours and hours and hours of DVR footage of the backside of a Robbie Layton Nation sticker. So I'm so glad I didn't need that footage for anything, because it wouldn't have been there if I had. It's kind of a pain to clean this camera back here, but I have to get another sticker, Robbie Layton sticker on here somewhere, but need to make sure I remember next time not to cover up the camera. But now what I want is to put the mount up here somewhere, and I'm just not sure where I want to put one. But I don't have any available real estate on the handlebar for that big clamp that it came with. So I think that could work right there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and drill right there. Put a hole that size, then I can come in from the inside. Now the important thing here is I've got hardware on the inside, so I need to come back from the windshield far enough that I can get to the backside of this and get in here with an Allen anyway. So, all right, so my 360 mount came with this crappy ass little stamped wrench, which sucks for that mount, but I have an actual wrench in there for the mount. This is going to work for this and let me get in there. So what I need to do now is find a bit that's going to work. We have a drill card. I don't know if that's going to be quite. Now what I want to do is try and line this up, just holding this across here so I can see where it's going to be related to the hardware for the windshield. Give myself some space there. And then come down, I want it pretty centered because that leaves as much meat above and below as possible. So we're not overly weakening the bracket. And then hopefully I can get to this with a drill. Oh, that thing. Okay. If I can get back there and clean it, I would. Okay, let's see if I can scrape that. Got some burrs hanging off the back of that. That'll work. Okay, now we can take this. Okay, now use this little flat stamped wrench, and I do have a 5mm Allen in my toolkit on the bike. So if I need at any point in the future to get to this and tighten it, or take it off, or anything else, I have that in there. So that works out well. When I install new stuff, I try to ensure I can install, remove, or service it on the road. Now, I don't have a stamped 10 like that in my bike toolkit, but generally speaking, if I have my 360 mounted on that mount, then I'm going to have my camera gear with me. So I will be able to service this mount. Now, there are different options, so I could put this like out in front, down out of my sight, so you'd be like right there. So anyway, that's pretty much this. It's just, don't even need this. I could just put the camera on back here, but I have this, so I was just playing with it. And this is what I was just looking for right here. If I keep that, I'm going to switch out one of these for a short one, and like that, so that they're not matched, but I'll wrap it up. So now we got that on there, got the hand grip warmers on there. I'll finish those up once they're dry. I can trim them and get the end caps on, and we'll take it for a ride tomorrow. So that'll be in a minute just for you, but I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, and it is the next day. I got started a little bit here off camera. I've pulled the control box here off because I wanted to see how much space I have there. As I was saying before, I want to try and mount this right here. And I think if I can make a piece of plate there, I can put it between the control panel and this, and that'll make it a lot stronger than trying to just mounting tape that to the backside there. So that's where I'm at right now. I just got to do some measuring, do what I can fit between the screws, and then wide enough to cover all of that. So that's where I'm at. And I have a little piece of scrap over here that I can use for making the actual plate. Okay, so I'm back. I've got my little plate here, cut out, ground smooth, rounded the corners. Currently 46 degrees out here, so I did have to use a little cheating on the paint. It's been about 5-10 minutes since I started on this. It didn't take as long as I expected, but like I said, I did have to cheat a little because it's so cold out here. It would have taken a couple of days for that to dry all on its own. So I've got my Gorilla mounting tape on here and trimmed. The fun part's always getting the backer off of this. Okay, so put this where we want it. And squeeze that on there. Get that back where it goes. And snug these screws back up. And this being full width, it's not going to put a lot of extra torque on the screws. And this is something, you know, I don't really use that very often. Mostly this is just going to be sitting here so I can see that it's actually working. Now that I don't have a sticker in front of the front camera. So this is the rear camera right here. And then, as I was showing yesterday, the camera in the front had the sticker over it. So now I've got my reliant sticker up here. Kind of sad because it's the same sticker, but this one's blue and it doesn't match my keychain, but oh well. Maybe in March I can get something. Get another one of the black ones, I don't know. Because they'll be at the off-road games. Okay, so what we have left now is putting the end caps on, trimming these and putting the end caps on. And then that's pretty much it. I don't think it's going to be all that exciting to watch. Okay, we're back and we're almost ready to put this on, or these on. One thing, like I was saying before, these are intended to go into a hollow handlebar, and these ones are not hollow. They have a threaded insert there. But as you can see here, the threads aren't flush at the end of the cap. On this side, it won't really matter because it will just pull this in until it gets to the end of the bar, and then it'll stop. On the throttle side, that's a problem because the threaded part of the bar doesn't rotate, and the handle does because the throttle's on that side. So what we've got over there is I found a nut that's about the right size to bring this piece out so that it'll sit out from that and allow it to rotate. So now we just need to get the right tool for this, and we can zip it right in there. And these are just some cheapo caps I just got for a couple of bucks online just to cover this up. And looks like I might need to grab something a little shorter for those because it's running into something inside there. I'm not sure exactly what. Might be able to just, yeah, that'll work. So let me swap this out because I'm sure this Chinesium chrome probably wouldn't hold up very well anyway. And these are the original bolts out of the control there. So assuming this will fit into the recess there. Okay, it's not perfect because it's a little smaller than the rubber on the grip, but it'll work. And it'll just keep it from being just wide open and looking completely ugly. And this is just a stainless nut out of the drawers of spare hardware. And I can bring that around so you can see. This, just like I said, brought it out enough that this will rotate without dragging on that. So now it's all done. We just got to look at what we want to do with the camera, get all the bag and everything back on, the phone mount, and then we'll come back and take her for a ride. It is a bit chillier out there today. I don't know if you can see the steam from my breath in here. Yesterday it was actually pretty warm. Today, not so much, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up for now. We'll come back in a little bit. Like I said, once I've got everything back on here, we're going to go ahead and take her for a ride, and I'll bring you back then.